Hi, welcome back to another episode on the Healthy Wisdom series with Dr. Jen Jen. All right, are we ready for the second guiding principle of good governance? So last week we explored leadership, and this week we're going to also explore a very important principle, and it is none other than the principle of stewardship. Now, honestly, the very first time I heard the word stewardship, I actually pictured a shepherd, but I didn't know what it actually really meant to be a shepherd. And so as the year went on and the more I learned about stewardship, the more I became fascinated by it, because stewardship, honestly, I think is a very self-reflective quality and skill set that needs to be nourished and nurtured and practiced throughout our lives. And to be honest, I don't think any part of our school system has really taught us to make the most out of this really essential skill that I believe we all need. All right, so let's break it down. Let's figure this out. Let's all learn together. What is stewardship? Well, first of all, I'm going to give you the definition of good stewardship in governance, right? And good governance principles, okay? So the principle of stewardship in governance says the board protects and shepherds resources and capital that belong to others, such as the principals, community, stakeholders of the organization, and therefore must ensure effective systems are in place to control and account for these. Now, this is again a mouthful, but the key word here is resources and capital, right? Because what are the most important things in a company and an organization is stewardship of the resources and capital. But we are trying to apply these principles to our lives. So I thought about it the other day and I was like, well, what is the most important resource, or I would call it a priceless resource that we have in our lives that we absolutely must apply good stewardship towards. I don't know if you guys want to take a big wild guess, but I'm going to give you like 3 seconds just to kind of give it a little bit of thought before, I reveal the answer. But if any of you actually guess it right, please leave me a little note on my Facebook page or something. Let me know that you actually got it before I reveal the answer, because I really want to give you a little gift. Okay. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. So, please, let me know, or shoot me an email. Let me know that you actually knew what I meant to say as the most priceless resource that we must be good stewards to. And I would love to, send you a little gift, because I think this is like an invaluable lesson that I personally have learned. And I feel that everybody should absolutely know. So what is it? What is this priceless resource? Well, it's time. Time is our most valuable resource that in any human being's lives it's something that we cannot get back. Once it's past, it's past, right? So time. Now, I want to share this verse that I learned from the Bible. I know, everybody, I am not religious, but when I heard this verse, I was just I was just completely mesmerized, because I was like, wow, it really describes it to the T, the meaning of stewardship. And I have to say, this is something that I just I don't know. I have a newfound interest in, perhaps maybe studying the Bible a little bit because there are some really interesting um, revelations in there that I just never thought would have been so deep. And so I just, again, out of curiosity, because, for those of you that know me, I'm Buddhist. So like, I was raised a Buddhist, but not like a practicing Buddhist. So we were never made to go to the temple. We were never forced to go and pray and whatever. So my parents were very flexible with allowing us to explore the different types of religions if we chose to. But in my household, they raised us as Buddhists. So we do know the principles of, how to be a good person and all that. But yeah, like throughout my years, I've had some really good friends who are devout Christians, Catholics, and I've dibbled and dabbled in, a few verses here and there, when they've, shared in conversation and stuff. But it's just this one particularly, really caught me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you don't mind. I'm not religious, but it's just work with me here. Like we're just trying to I guess, understand the concept better by being able to kind of visualize almost in a metaphorical sense. All right, so this is from Ecclesiastes. I hope I didn't butcher the name. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, I guess. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I don't know the annotation very well, but 3 dot 1. Okay, so 3 verse 1. Okay, so this is what it says. It says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to tear down, and a time to build, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. Like that to me is like such a great juxtaposition of all the different stages in our lives and all the different events that happen in the different seasons of our lives that I was just like, wow, like I was just thinking to myself the other day, I was like, wow, this could probably take like a whole series in itself, but I'm going to try to just bring it in. So I'm using this as sort of like in a metaphorical sense so that, we can really savor the meaning of time and how valuable it is. So perhaps we'll circle back to this verse, at another time, but beautifully said. Like I was like, wow, if that's something that, we can gain from the Bible, like I'm just really curious to see what else, we can actually gather from that. So one of these days when I get a little bit more time on my hands, I definitely will probably start, to kind of leaf through the Bible and see what else I can get out of there. So one of the key questions that I want you guys to ask yourselves is, are you wasting your time or are you using it wisely? Because that's going to determine how you steward your time, right? And I wanted to share with you, I know some of you probably already kind of know some of this, the top 10 time wasters, right? There are some that are so obvious, right? And I think, everybody talks about them. Maybe sometimes it's talked about too much, but it's important to be able to identify that there are some very obvious time wasters, but there are some that actually we don't notice are time wasters, or we justify our time wasting by saying that, well, this is part of my me time, my downtime. Or perhaps, there are some time wasters that you'll see that, we think is actually good for us, but when you overdo the amount of time that you put on there, it's actually not improving our lives. I know that's a little shocker, but you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to give you the list of the top 10 time wasters, and we'll just kind of pick and choose a couple of the ones that I think are obviously not the ones that everybody talks about, but the more surprising ones, okay? So number one, of course, everybody harps on TV. Number two is movies. Number three is phones. And yes, yeah, we knew that was coming. I actually thought that was going to be number one, but anyways, it's number three. Number four is social media. Number five is video games. Number six is commuting. Number seven, I know this was a shocker to me. Exercise. Did you know that actually, like, I guess some experts consider exercise a time waster, but we'll get back to that because there's kind of like an important point that needs to be made there. Number eight is shopping, right? Number nine is online shopping. And number 10 is obsessions. Wow. I was like, wow, obsessions are time wasters? Well, what if they're good obsessions? Anyways. Okay, so the exercise, let's circle back to that one. That was a little bit surprising. When I saw the list, I was like, wow, exercise is a time waster? Well, it's not a time waster if you spend anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour exercising. Or unless, exercising is your career. Like if you're a personal trainer, that's beside the point, okay? But we're talking about people who are not personal trainers, not in the athletes, category and not in that sports world, who are spending more than 2 hours exercising in a day. Okay? And we're talking about per day here. So apparently between 30 minutes to an hour is where you can maximize the amount of physical activity and reap the most benefits out of your, I guess, exercise routine. So I thought that was kind of interesting, to my surprise, because I thought exercise was a good thing. And, I didn't know that, doing 4 hours of, the gym is considered a time wasting activity. But I guess, it's in relative terms. I mean, if you are choosing to go to the gym rather than sit at home and watch TV or, sit at home and browse, the Instagram or Facebook, messages and whatever that, the daily news feed or whatever, then probably I would say, choose exercise over that. But I think, we have to think of it in relative terms, so if you are looking to maximize your time and you have limited time per se, try to, manage it so that, you maximize what you get out of exercise, and then you can, budget the rest of the time for something else, for learning, for, doing something that will move you to the next level, that will increase your learning, increase your growth, etc. So that's sort of what I kind of was surprised about, because I was like, oh, exercise. Wow, I didn't know exercise would make it on this list. The one that's previous to exercise was commuting. This one, I think a lot of people have talked about, and it's true because some people, as we know, nowadays, are moving a little bit further out in the city so that, we can afford a home that we can own, and they end up having to commute quite far distances. And one of the big things about commuting is a lot of us, we tend to listen to the radio, we listen to the news. But if you want to maximize your time in the car, truthfully, I am a big fan of audiobooks. I think it's a great way to stimulate your brain, learn something new. Maybe perhaps even learn something that you've already learned, but sometimes when you listen to it in the car, because there is a limited number of things that you can focus on other than the road, you'll actually find that each time that you listen to a lesson or a part of a book, you actually absorb different things that come at you. So it's kind of neat, to be able to kind of learn as you are commuting, if you have a long commute. So that's something that, I would encourage you guys to perhaps consider, making better use of the choices of what you're listening to. I love the one shopping.